Welcome back to the evening session of Code A. I am Wolf. With me is Caldor. We had an exciting afternoon, and things are going to get even better here at the nighttime.
Exactly. We have 4 very, very cool games ahead of us. 4 best of 3s. We have Byun versus Revival kicking things off today. But this is not even the best game of the evening session. Earlier, as you already pointed out, Wolf, we had a couple of really, really good matches. I like the Terran versus Terran the most.
I like Terran versus Terran. Some great Terran versus Protoss as well. I'm actually driven crazy. I talked to you about this about 2 minutes ago. I have like a splinter or something on my finger. It's the finger I used to click on the mouse, and it really hurts. I don't know what just happened. Like I blew my nose in the bathroom, then I came out here, and then suddenly my fingers started. Maybe I do, man. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't see anything on my finger, but it's driving me crazy. It really hurts.
If you point.
Ah, stop it. It hurts, man. It's not like it doesn't hurt that much, but it's just a slight annoyance, you know, just like a normal splinter. But I don't see any splinters.
You should just feel for it and then pull it out.
I wish I could find it, man, but I just can't.
You feel for it, like
maybe it's like a piece of glass or something really terrible.
That would be a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I'm like maybe I need to go to the hospital, but I guess I'll be okay.
Well, you can go to the hospital in like 4 hours.
If they're open, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But
that'll be alright.
We might have to cut the finger off.
It's possible, guys.
I actually nearly did that once.
Why?
By accident.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't cut it off, but I got a new computer. I was pretty excited, so I ran up the stairs with the computer.
Oh, I know where the story's going.
And the computer fell. I'm like, okay, I have to save that thing. So I'm just reaching out, and the metal corner, crushed into the finger, breaks the bone, and nearly cuts the finger off. They had to drill holes in my fingernails to let the blood flow out, and yeah, I got pretty lucky because the nerves weren't damaged, but I have a pretty huge scar through the entire finger.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
damn.
Nearly cut it off. But I saved the PC.
You saved the PC?
And from that point on, the PC and I, we bonded. I mean, tasted my blood, so I guess that's normal.
You're actually freaking me out a little bit, man. I'm like, well, luckily I don't have something this extreme. I just have maybe a piece of glass on my finger, but...
And that's the smallest scarf that I have. I have even more. Anyways, guys, we have a look at yesterday's results. We're coming back to StarCraft 2, and there they are. Round 1 of the GSL Code A. The first day starting off with Genius being eliminated back in Code B. The same is true for MVP finale. We had Root Gaming's Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, wielding 2 heroes' powers, and Baby eliminated by StarTale Avenge.
Yeah. And in the evening, we had Younghwa take out Reality. Pretty straightforward games. Lure versus Jaedong was a little bit closer. Jaedong not able to take out Lure, though, at the end of the day. And then, of course, Huck, the other EG player playing, fell to Shine. We'll have another EG player, in fact, playing it today. Talk about that a little bit later. Finally, Yoda was able to take out Tyr in the final crazy extreme game.
And up to this point, everything was going well for LGIM. All their players went through, but first to today, the winner of IEM Katowice in Poland, he lost to Labyrinth. And yeah, the second game with Flash defeating Solar. Didn't have a problem at all. Maru and Dream, one of the really, really best games that we had this early morning. Maru in the end prevailed and was able to defeat Dream, so also the runner-up of IEM Katowice. Falling back into Code B, Happy also not successful against Killer, so today for LGIM it's a little bit of a sad day so far, but things might change as we have 3 more players of Incredible Miracle.
3 more players indeed. Byun starts things off for us today. He's going to be playing against Revival. Revival, who was a TSL player, one of the original TSLs, now moves to EG. Center, another TSL player who's now playing for Quantic, plays against Seed. It's the rematch. Last time he knocked Seed out of the GSL. Maybe this time Seed's going to do that to him.
And then we have Bial against Effort in our only mirror match with the ZVZ before MVP is closing the day together with Sue, Eski, T1, the Zerg player. It's going to be a really interesting day, and a lot of LGIM players, as mentioned earlier. We have 3 additional ones in this session, and here we are, Byun versus Revival. Yeah. And an interesting thing is that they played in IPL just a few days ago, not even a week ago, where Byun was able to take the series with a 2-0. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well, as soon as we are in the game. Because, guys, we are getting ready.
It's starting, man. The countdown is long gone. The map is loaded. I'm looking at these bars. Byun got a haircut. What is this? Look at Byun's hair. He looks like a normal person.
I wouldn't have noticed.
How? Oh, come on. Look, Byun has one of the craziest hairstyles of all GSL. You wouldn't notice that? Look at his hair. What is that? Well, doesn't even look like Byun in the booth. Who is that? Who is that guy?
Okay, now you're over.
I don't like this haircut that he's got. I like his old hair much better. Shows a lot more personality, I feel.
I don't know what to say. Maybe, yeah. I agree.
Good. I'm glad you feel the same way.
You are the hair expert here, so I will just roll with whatever you...
Revival dyed his hair a little bit as well. Normally going for the dark black, but now he's got a little bit of a brown shimmer, EG style.
Hey, I tweeted that a couple of days ago. If I was a female 16-year-old girl in Korea, I would be all crazy about Revival. The guy is handsome, he's successful, and we are jumping into the game and we are going to find out if he's also successful in the GSL. Here we go with the Terran player starting to the top left of Icarus. Now our first game here at the GSL round 1. It is.
Byun Prime.
That was a weird opening. I can do better than that.
That was a little bit weird, but that's fine.
Yeah, that was
it's
rough.
almost as weird as Byun's new haircut. Look at those bangs. Wake up.
He's unimpressed.
Yeah.
He's pulling a flash here.
His opponent, formerly a TSL player, the Zerg over here, let's not forget about him. Made it to the round of 8 in the Super Tournament, but otherwise has not done much in individual leagues. He is...
EG Revival Lady
I think the
Core.
only reason I remember that is because I was solo casting that match back in the day. That was a long time ago, like nearly 2 years ago now.
Time flies.
It certainly does.
But yeah, I touched on the subject of those two meeting a week ago already, and this was in one of the IPL qualifiers for Season 6, IGN Pro League. And, you know, the thing is that Byun took it with a 2-0, but I think every single time when you look at something like this that is so close to a GSL match, you have to be very careful because players usually don't show their strategies. I remember an online match between Paul and Marine King where both of them just proxied through an entire best-of-5 series because they had to play 2 days later in the GSL. So Byun won that online match with a 2-0, but I am pretty sure that both players were really reluctant to show their strategies.
Of course, yeah.
So I am not quite sure how valuable
How long
those
ago was that
information-
game?
Not even a week ago.
Okay, so they might... It just depends, because I think the Code A rounds were announced 3 days ago. So it's like, it depends on if it was longer than that, because they just found out they were playing against each other.
3 days ago? I think it was a lot sooner than that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it may have been, actually.
I'm losing track of time a little bit with
Yeah, you and I
flying
have
back to
traveled a
Korea.
lot.
Yeah, so with the time differences and everything. They might not have known at this point. That's actually a really good point. I didn't actually even consider that. That's a really good point. They might not have known.
This is interesting, by the way. Look what Byun is doing here. He's taking his gas at the expansion rather than the main base, so the Overlord doesn't see any gases right now, so he doesn't know. He goes, okay, 1 racks expand, but he doesn't know about the gas.
Yeah, that's going to be really important later on, and I really like that Byun is doing something like this. And Byun just in general in this matchup has roughly a 40% win ratio against Zerg. 40 wins and 41 losses puts him just below 50%. And if you just look at his last games, the 1 win against Revival, of course, that I just pointed out sticks out. But he also had a couple of games against players like Symbol, Shine, and also Byal. He lost against all 3 of them. That was back in the up and downs. The only Zerg player that he was able to defeat in the up and downs was Jaedong. And to be completely honest, Jaedong completely blew it in this game. That was the match on Cloud Kingdom where Jaedong suddenly completely refused. Well, I see 20 Hellions coming into my natural. Am I going to close this with the Evolution Chamber, or I'm just going to let them in? And he let them in. He didn't react at all. Didn't look at the minimap, and that's why he lost the game. Before that, he dominated Byun. But so Byun took the match. So right now I feel he's maybe a little bit shaky against Zerg. Not necessarily bad or anything or weak, but he's a little bit in a spot where he needs a win in the best of 3, I feel, to get the confidence.
He's playing a really weird style right now. So he goes for the gas at the back, so it's hidden, and also it's a ridge geyser, so he gets 6 gas per trip on that geyser. But he makes, for example, a lot of extra depots. He made an accidental extra depot by mistake, and now he's going to double barracks. He's spending his resources efficiently. He's getting his stem. But the most unique thing about what he's doing is getting this very fast +1, so that lends itself to some sort of timing attack. Normally you see Terran player take double engineering bays, a little bit later go double upgrades, try to get ahead of the Zerg, but with this type of rush to +1, he must have something planned. Yeah. I wonder if we're going to see him add 2 more barracks after his starport is started.
Well, at this point what we see for his opponent, talking about Byun and that he goes into very, very fast upgrades. Let's focus a little bit, double gas now for Byun as well, going into the Zerg player's build. He is currently in a position where we might actually, he has the Roach Warren and he stopped producing drones at 37, which is usually lending itself to a roach baneling attack. That was back in the days. The build fell kind of off the grid, so most players don't really get the baneling nest anymore, but he could definitely do it. Usually you do it at exactly this point in time. He starts with the roaches now though, and a roach attack, and there's the baneling nest. He's going for this.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this in a while. This was so popular half a year ago. Every Zerg player did it, and then suddenly they stopped. They went for only roach aggression, and sometimes with a Zergling follow-up. But this is... Can you call this old school already?
I mean,
don't think so. Not
it's
really.
not old school, but it's out of style right now.
Yeah.
It's an older build from about 6 months ago, like you said, that we were seeing a lot back during that time.
But it's really strong.
It is. It's quite strong. And Byun, on the other hand, is powering up a lot of units. This map oftentimes... See, those are those two barracks he's adding right now that I was talking about. This map leads to timing attacks a lot of time because of that gold mineral patch. Well, 2 gold mineral patches. Gold mineral base, whatever you want to call it. That backdoor expansion. 18 banelings coming out here. Byun has some Marauders, he has a ton of production, but he's making 2 reactors right now. He's trying to do that SC Foyu style where you just rally across the map, but he needs time to get those reactors up before he's going to have that massive amount of production. He doesn't have any bunkers right now, he has no idea this is coming, he's completely blind right now, and to be honest, I don't think he can hold against this.
He could have lost Stim. He's actually lucky that he completes Stim. This is only a 2-second timing, and now he can use Stim to kite away from those banelings, and this Stim upgrade could have changed everything here.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in agreement. He actually throws his SCVs away here.
Oh wow, I think just Revival has way too much. 14 harvesters killed already.
Well, you know, Revival trades against the SCVs, but this means the army is still here, and with double mules and those gold patches, Byun may be able to not only hold here, but then go for a counterattack with all that pressure he has.
That Stim really saved Byun.
Absolutely. Without that Stim, he would have not only lost his army, but probably would have died.
And guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, the attack lab was at the forward barracks, and Stim was just finished when those banelings arrived. 2 seconds later, I'm not kidding.
Maybe even a second and a half.
Yeah,
it was so close.
Exactly. Maybe even a second and a half, and the attack lab would have exploded without Stim being done, which means that Byun could not have used Stim to kite away from those banelings and roaches.
And now that he has it and that production, he was going to hit a timing attack anyways. He now has 1-1 upgrades finishing up. He has Medivacs to heal his bio. He has Stim. Combat Shields has started. But the 1-1 and the Medivacs are the key here. Lair is just finishing for Revival, who doesn't have that many banelings left. So Byun, as long as he splits decently here, should actually just be able to end
Revival was hoping for an Hellion opening, but that's not what he gets.
Oh my god, that one baneling hits like 12 Marines or something ridiculous.
Oh wow, that was really, really important for Revival here. On creep with the speed bonus, he takes it down. But yeah, for Byun, the opening was really good. Just imagine him opening with a normal Hellion. Yeah, with Hellion, Reactor Factory Hellion, something like this. Then he doesn't have anything to deal with this aggression, but he tries to go for a timing. He has the units out. Stim finishes in time thanks to his early research. And that was really, really well done by Byun. And for Revival, a little bit unlucky.
Byun is still continuing the attack. This is what happens when you do this type of build. This is another old build, and this one really is old school we're seeing from Byun. It's really facilitated by this gold patch, but Byun is getting into the choke point here. He's just going to keep rallying units across the map, just like SC, who switched to League of Legends, of course, a sort of former pro gamer for StarCraft 2. Just loves to rally his units across the map. There's a famous series against ST you guys should look up from the semifinals of a tournament where he was doing this, and
look at Byun here.
Byun
He
is
started
just
stepping in and by third base.
He's even stopped rallying his forces. He knows he's done everything he needs to do here. He kills the base. He has siege mode finished up back at home now. He's adding the armory, the second eBay. He's so ahead. He's 30 display ahead. He doesn't actually have to rally across the map and give Revival a chance to cut off reinforcements.
Yeah, this is a really tricky situation for Revival right now. A build that looked very, very aggressive, and where he was the one to initiate attacks just turned around because of how Byun dealt with it and about the Stim timing. Now we have Byun attacking, and the Terran player is on creep once more. He has those medivacs, he can always lift away, and that's exactly what he does.
He's hoping that Marauder gets hit by banelings. Unfortunately for him, that's not the case. We got siege tanks now as well. This is way too much for Revival to handle. Wait, Revival is down here.
Revival, if he holds this by some miracle, I don't see how. Even if he does, the reinforcements for Byun will be too tough to deal with. There's so many Marines, the siege tanks lending support. He can manually target now banelings and render them even more useless than they already are in this situation. This is the worst case scenario for Revival right now.
It is. Revival is in a lot of trouble. I mean,
EG in this first round of Code A, not successful at all so far.
Yeah, not at all. Jaedong the only one to win a set. The great splitting. GG. Really nicely done. Great counterattacks by Byun. I mean, it was lucky he got his stim, but everything else that he was doing led him to not only hit a timing attack, but hit a timing attack against Zerg, who used all of his units in a failed attack.
So Byun now with a 1-0 against Revival. Game 2 coming up soon. I have a serious off-topic question, because you touched on that subject, and I actually have no idea if you know, but maybe you have more information about that. You mentioned SC switching to LoL, and what happened to all these StarCraft 2 players that switched? They were like, okay, it's in Korea, it's a little bit more popular, and they were like, well, maybe we can make a living. But Koga, for example, was one of those players where everything.
I know what happened to these players, man. Well, they're still. I'll tell you. Oh, okay.
Koka, everybody thought he would be able to take GSL season back then. He was the up-and-coming player, so strong. Has anyone ever heard of those guys again?
Nope. They're right now playing as amateur League of Legends players. I've heard that they've been in contact with some of the League of Legends teams out here, like MVP, for example, but
that is so
right
sad.
now they're still, I mean, they're like in the same phase a lot of these Caspa players were in 8-9 months ago, where they were learning StarCraft 2. They're still learning League of Legends, so...
You know, the thing is, of course I would have loved to have them in StarCraft, but I really thought at the point, I was not sure if that was a wise decision, especially for Koka, because he was so successful in StarCraft 2. But now hearing that, it's actually sad. It's really sad for them. I was hoping that at least they would be doing well, but risking all of this, what they had in StarCraft?
You know, I think they might not have understood that League of Legends in Korea has a very different system for joining teams and becoming a pro gamer. It's a lot more difficult. There's not a lot of help out there. You have to join a 5-person team. It's not like, well, just sit in a house doing well, train together. It doesn't work like that in League of Legends. So
I wanted to ask Doa earlier, because I know that he's mainly casting League of Legends these days, but yeah, it's good that you know as well, because...
Yeah, all these guys are basically just training like on their own with their friends and stuff, and trying to become at that pro gamer level to get noticed by these teams.
I was thinking about that when you mentioned it, SC, and I remembered Koka, and I was like, what happened to him? And it's so sad to hear that. For him to throw all that away,
he had a lot of potential for sure, man.
I would have thought he would at least get into the round of 8, maybe even win a season. Well, we're heading into the second game between Revival and Byun. The players are ready, so are we. GSL Code A, round 1, guys, with Carl and Wolf.
Here we go.